Today, a memorandum was signed in Kragujevac regarding the opening of the European House. So we start the conversation with the EU ambassador in Serbia, Emanuel Žiofre, by asking whether this will contribute to the citizens' better understanding of the importance of European integration.
Well, thank you for having me with you today. It's a pleasure to be in Kragujevac. It's a pleasure to be at Glas Šumadije. The memorandum we signed today is precisely aiming at opening more opportunity for the citizens of Kragujevac to know more about the European Union. We already have Europe houses or info center in, of course, Belgrade, Niš and Novi Sad, but we think we need to go beyond, and we wanted to have a presence also in Šumadija, to a place where people can go to ask questions, a space for citizens to organize activity related to the European Union. And I think it will certainly contribute to have a better understanding what the EU stands for and what the great opportunities exist for the citizens of Serbia and of Šumadija and Kragujevac.
Although the European Union has been the biggest donor and investor in Serbia for 20 years, the impression is that citizens overestimate the help of China and Russia. Why is that so?
Well, the European Union is by far the main economic partner of Serbia. More than 65% of the trade of Serbia is with the EU. Is by far the main investors here in Serbia. 60% in the last 10 years of foreign direct investment is coming from the European Union, and is by far the main donors of Serbia. We are allocating 400 million euros every year, and actually we're now planning to increase with the growth plan. So certainly we are the main partner of Serbia under all respect, and certainly we need to better explain to the citizens this reality, because even if we know that the majority of Serbian citizens know that the EU is the main donors of Serbia, we're about 40% according to our polling, we need to do better, because we are certainly 1 or 3 notches above everyone else.
Part of the opposition in Serbia believes that despite the lag in media, reforms in the judiciary, democratization of society, the European Union supports the government in Serbia. What is your comment?
Well, my comment is that we support Serbia, we support the Serbian citizens. Of course, we work with the government, but not only with the government, we also work with the business sector. We work with civil society, we work with local authority, we work with farmers. The idea is that we want to make Serbia ready to be a member of the European Union, and therefore we need to work with the central government, the local government, but all society. And this is the idea, this is the objective, to make Serbia a member of the European Union. And this is why also we need to interact and have a dialogue with civil society and parties that are not in government and the opposition, because this is a project that requires a certain level of consensus within society, perhaps not unanimity, but certainly a large consensus, and we try to reaching out all sectors of Serbian society.
Today in Kragujevac, the opposition requested a meeting with you because of the parliamentary crisis in Kragujevac, as they said. What was discussed on the meeting?
Well, the meeting was organized without being pre-planned, but there was a request, and we managed to find a short period of time to meet them. It's important for us to meet all forces, and therefore if there was an opportunity to discuss them, they express their concern. We listened, and it was also an opportunity to explain the reason of our visit here and our plans for Kragujevac.
You have recently attended a meeting between the authorities and the opposition on the upcoming elections with the American ambassador Christopher Hill. Today it is clear that part of the opposition will not participate in the local elections in Belgrade scheduled for June 2. What is your opinion about this?
Our opinion is that after the elections last December and the report of ODIHR, we know that there were a number of shortcomings in the election system and a number of issues that need to be improved, and we received a number of recommendations from ODIHR. Some of these recommendations are actually quite old, others are new. So our position, it was important that we work on the implementation of this recommendation to improve the election framework, and this has to be done in an inclusive manner. So all political parties, but also civil society, need to be involved in order to have an agreement on how to implement this recommendation. And there is a process that is trying to look at this. And then there was also a discussions on the date of elections. Eventually, the speaker took the initiative, also on request of the opposition, to bring together both the Belgrade elections and the local elections are yet to be celebrated, and I think this is a positive step. We also saw that there was a vote in the Skupština to amend the local election law in order to allow this vote on June the 2nd. And it was a vote by many members of the Skupština from the opposition and but also many from the government, of course. So these are certainly a positive step, and we think that participation is important, that democracy lives through the participation of citizens, lives through the participation of political forces, that the presence of different political forces making the institutions stronger. We believe in dialogue. We believe it's important to find compromise. Compromise is not a defeat. Compromise can be a victory for both sides. So this is what we support, and this is what we hope we will see in Serbia more and more. And certainly we hope to see the recommendations of ODIHR to be fully implemented in the period to come.
Do you think it is possible to implement the recommendation of ODIHR on elections in Serbia, which are related to electoral reform?
Yeah, I think it is possible to implement those recommendations. ODIHR is also actively working with the government in order to provide technical assistance to implement those recommendations. We need to have a debate on the recommendation. We need to see what the recommendation exactly means, how it can be implemented, whether the political forces agree with the recommendation, and this is what we need to do. But it has to be done in an inclusive manner. When we say inclusive, that there must be transparent debate, bringing in also those civil society organizations that have an expertise on election that can bring added value, international players like ODIHR and political forces. And for us, it's a very important aspect. We have been indicating the importance of the implementation of the recommendation in our annual reports for quite many years. So I think that now we might have an opportunity to work. Of course, some recommendation will require some more time to be implemented, and therefore we need also continued commitment by the authorities and the political forces to continue working on this.
Do you think the citizens of Serbia know what accession to the European Union brings to them?
I think that the citizens of Serbia understand that membership of the European Union will bring a lot of benefit. But what we need to do now is to also show more concretely what this benefit can be. I know that the moment where the EU membership was the most popular in Serbia is when the visa to the European Union were cancelled about 15 years ago. So it's normal that citizens can, when they can feel the direct benefit of EU membership, they will understand better. And this is exactly what we're trying to do now with the growth plan for the Western Balkans. That is the new initiative of the European Union. The growth plan is precisely there to identify a number of areas where the benefit of membership can already be granted to the citizens of the Western Balkans. For example, we're discussing now Serbia and other countries to be part of the single European payment area. What does it mean? That it means that within the EU, when you make a payment, a transfer between Lisbon and Tallinn, you don't pay anything. There's no fees. But at the moment, if you make a transfer between Vienna and Belgrade, there is a fee to be paid. So if we are together in the same space, we will reduce the cost of transition, and citizens can transfer money to the EU, business can buy commodities or sell the commodities to the EU without paying fees. So it's very concrete. The same thing for roaming. When you travel out of Serbia and you go to the EU, you go to Greece, you go to Austria, you have very high roaming fees. And now we are reducing those roaming fees, and we hope to advance. Or for trucks, when you export a truck of goods to Hungary, then you have to spend many hours, if not many days, at the border. So we're trying to see whether through the green lane we can actually eliminate this. So very concrete issues that really touch the life of the citizens. And then we know that we need to increase the economic growth in the Western Balkans, because even if Serbia has been successful economically in the last 10 years, the GDP per capita in Serbia is still 42% of the EU average. And even if you grow quite intensively, it will take many, many years to reach the average. So we need to go faster, and this is why the European Union has allocated more funding for the Western Balkans, because you need to receive almost as much as EU member states receive when they're already inside the European Union. And this is again part of the growth plan. But also we need reforms. And this is part of the equation. Without reforms, we cannot achieve this. So the growth plan is also about accelerating reforms, and this is why we are now negotiating an agenda of reforms with Serbia and all the Western Balkan partners. And we're looking at areas like business environment, the digital and green transition, but also the fundamentals, and because fundamentals being fight against corruptions, democratic elections, protection of minority, etc. So we hope that in a few weeks, a couple of months, we will have this agreed agenda of reforms, and we can start providing additional support to Serbia for project and budget support, and at the same time working on integrating Serbia in the internal market even today.
Great. Which are the areas on which Serbia should focus in order to accelerate European integration?
Well, I think that there are clearly priority areas. The first one, again, are the fundamentals, because the new way of accelerating accession is to what we say meeting the interim benchmark. What does that mean, the interim benchmarks of chapter 23-24? It's very obscure, but basically is to make progress on Serbia's commitment when it comes to media pluralism, fight against corruption, fight against organized crime, etc., etc., etc. So certainly this is an area where Serbia needs to focus. Then, of course, there is the issue of the green transition. We need to reduce carbon emission, we need to transform our economy, and Serbia has made a number of progress, but we need more renewable sources of energy in the energy mix. We need to advance on the digital transition, and yes, Serbia has done quite a good job so far. And then, of course, there is the issue which is very specific to Serbia, which is Kosovo. The normalization of the relationship between Belgrade and Pristina. We have now this agreement that we reached last year in Brussels and Ohrid, so the implementation of those agreements that are part now of the negotiating framework, as we say. And this is certainly important. Obviously, we also need the support of the commitment of Pristina, and we need also to see important obligations that Pristina had entered into, like the creation of the Association of Serb Municipality, to be implemented. We're living in a different geopolitical context after the Russian aggression against Ukraine. There is a new momentum for enlargement. the member states of the European Union and the EU institutions have put enlargement again at the top of the priority. So it's a new opportunity, but it's a context which requires that we stick together, that we align our policy, that we decide that we want to be viable and sincere partners for each other. And I think this is the way forward. If we do this, we will certainly be able to seize this opportunity, which is an opportunity that is there to be seized, and we cannot miss it.
Thank you very much once again.
My pleasure.